Okay, we are now going to focus on pure substances. So we're going to be talking about the classification of matter. So how is matter organized? What are its groups? And we're going to talk about pure substances, so elements and compounds. So you're going to see what I mean. Now, the objectives, pause, read them if you want. Otherwise, trust me that what I'm talking about is relevant. All right, so matter. Anything that has mass and volume. It's composed of atoms. There are 118 different kinds of atoms. That's it. Those 118 atoms are what combine to make all of the substances. The atoms are too small to be seen. If we had over 3 million atoms side by side by side by side by side, that only measures about a millimeter. So they're tiny. Here's how the matter is classified. So matter at the top basically grouped into two categories, pure substances and mixtures. And then pure substances are subdivided into elements and compounds. And then mixtures are subdivided into homogeneous and heterogeneous. Okay, so let's talk about pure substances. What does that mean? Pure substances have definite properties, so physical and chemical properties. They have definite properties. And those properties can be used for identification. So if you know enough of the properties, you'll be able to say what pure substance it is that you're talking about. And it's either one single element or one single compound. So if the word substance is used, it is assumed you mean pure substance, so an element or a compound. So if you say, which substance is this? You mean which element or which compound is this? So anytime in a question you see the word substance, it means you are only talking about elements or compounds. All right, now we're going to focus on elements, one of the groups of pure substances. So an element is a pure substance that contains only one kind of atom, and it has unique physical and chemical properties. All pure substances do. It has a unique chemical symbol, okay, found on the periodic table. Okay, so here are some examples. Hydrogen, its symbol is H. Helium has a symbol He. And notice the first letter is capital, the second letter is lowercase, and that's it. Okay, tin is Sn. Okay. What else about elements? So some exist as single atoms, like helium, and that's called monatomic. So mono meaning one. Some exist as molecules. So a molecule is the smallest unit of a substance that keeps all the properties, and it's going to be two or more atoms combined in a definite ratio. What does that mean? It's not two sometimes and three another time. Okay, it's always in the same ratio. So for elements, all the atoms and molecules are one type of atom. So if we have hydrogen, okay, and we have two atoms of hydrogen bonded together, it's a molecule, but both atoms are hydrogen, so it's still an element, okay? When we have two atoms bonded together, it's called diatomic, di meaning two. So the diatomic gases are hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, and then the halogen, group 17 on the periodic table, fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine. So hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine. Those are diatomic, okay? So it can, for it to be an element, it doesn't have to be single atoms as a group. It can be bonded atoms, but all of the atoms that are bonded, no matter what, have to be the same element. Okay, so here's the periodic table of elements, all 118. These are the unique elements, unique symbols, unique properties, both physical and chemical. They combine to form other substances, but these are the only ones that are elements. Okay, one unique thing about elements is some elements have different versions, so different forms of the same element. And that description defines the word allotropes. So allotropes, they're different forms of the same element. So oxygen gas is O2 diatomic, but ozone is O3, so three oxygens bonded together, completely different properties. There are other allotropes, and we will discuss this more later, but there are other allotropes, phosphorus, sulfur, carbon, for example. Okay, now we move on to compounds, the other pure substance, the other substance. So compounds are pure substances that are not elements, but they are formed from their elements, and they can be broken down into their elements. So elements, we can't break them down. Compounds, we can. Compounds are composed of more than one kind of atom, and they have characteristic properties and composition. So their atoms are combined in a definite ratio. So carbon dioxide is 1 carbon and 2 oxygen always. Carbon monoxide, different compound, is 1 carbon and 1 oxygen. Okay, so whatever the compound is, its atoms are always combined in the same definite ratio. Okay, what else about compounds? They're represented by formulas and models. So these formulas and models are used to represent the ratio of the atoms in the compound. So I can use molecular formulas like H2O, like C6H12O6, that's glucose. Tells me how many of each atom are in the molecule. Tells me H2O, I have 2 hydrogens, 1 oxygen. C6H12O6, I have 6 carbons, 12 hydrogens, 6 oxygens. I can do a structural formula, so with lines just showing two-dimensionally how the atoms are connected to each other, and it's still going to show all the atoms. I could use a ball and stick model. It shows the bond angles more accurately, but it might not get the sizes right. And then I can have a space filling model, which represents more accurately the relative size of the atoms as well as their connections. All right. So which of the following statements about compounds is true? Okay, so have a look at them, pause it. What do you think? The compound has a defined ratio by mass of the elements that it contains. Which of the following is an element? Okay, pause the video if you want. Helium. A student checks the volume, melting point, and shape of 2 unlabeled samples of matter and finds that the measurements are identical. He concludes that the samples have the same chemical composition. Is this a valid conclusion? Seems a little sus. What additional information might be collected to test this conclusion? So it's not really valid because volume and shape really don't give us information about identity. Melting point, yes, okay, but 2 different substances can't actually have the same melting point. So additional information, I'd need additional physical properties, density maybe. I need different chemical properties, and then I might be able to differentiate. All right, in class you'd be doing a blue get to practice and just give you a chance to show off your brilliance. But that's it. This is classification of matter, pure substances, elements, and compounds. And hopefully today you learned something new.